And now, for the few of us in attendance and the millions listening live around the world, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Roundtable Wrestling!
Oh yeah, hey, what's up guys? Check it out. Today we are with Keith, the Wild Man. You already know, Brett the Nightmare, and of course, Dad, Big Ton. Got a lot of, Vandermark. Yeah, doing it big, guys. Hey, I am your guest commentator this week, Jay Sizzle for Rizzle. You already Mizzle, the voice of professional wrestling. And I'll tell you what, guys, I mean, it's going to be a little bit shorter show than normal, but I'm ready to rock and roll. So, Keith, why don't you get us started in this bad boy? Let us know, let them know in case they're new to the show.
Well, this is actually our first time doing our brand new format where we're going to kind of hop around the round table, which makes a lot more sense with the name of the show. And we're just going to do some rapid fire subjects and give our opinions on them, and
nice.
Hopefully we say some interesting stuff and people want to tune in and come back and all that good stuff.
Of course they do, because you guys are awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. So you know what? Let's get this thing started then, man. Let's jump right into it. You know what? I want to hear, first of all, Chad, dude, Brett, okay. I've got to hear your opinion on this, because you know everybody knows you're a bit of a heel, man. You're the bad guy here. So I want to know Tonga's bark. Love it, hate it. Yeah, what's your opinion, man?
Love it.
Loving it. All right, you need to elaborate a little bit more. You're a minute and a half, and your clock is running.
Tonga, man, he's crazy. He's gonna. Keith, help me out.
Yeah, you know what? That's what up in there. That's your 14 seconds. Good job, sir. Keith, wild man.
I gave it a shot.
Well, to be honest, I'm a pretty big fan of Tama Tonga, and the whole new bloodline in general. They obviously aren't as like powerful without Roman and the Usos, but I think they come off as better heels because they're sneakier and they do more. They're a little bit more interesting because you don't necessarily know that they're going to win all the time. Like there's always that question that there wasn't necessarily with Roman. As far as Tama Tonga's bark, I mean, his bite's probably even worse. So, yeah.
So what we're looking at here is, you know what? So basically, okay. So a lot of people are saying, you know what? This was garbage. This was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. He came out, had that swagger, had that attitude. Didn't really say too much per se. Yeah. But he came out, you know, almost like what the hell's his name? I want to say Little John, but that ain't correct. So you know what? Well, man, okay. So you know, that's a great subject that we can get into actually next on this. But one last one, real quick here, Brett, the Nightmare. What are you thinking, man? What's your take on Tonga's his attitude, his swagger, his just barking at the freaking crowd?
I think the man is personally insane. If you watch him in the ring as he walks and struts around, he just does absurd craziness. So you've got Jacob Fatu, who is the werewolf. You got the crazy man, Tama Tonga, who is just insane. He sits there, barks, cracking up with himself pretty much. So, yeah, I like it. I don't care what other people think about it. If they're fans, they're going to understand it as the storyline progresses. The more crazy this man gets. So I like it. Keep doing it.
Okay, so let's elaborate a little bit on this then, and we'll come back. Of course, we'll come back to to Chad here. So I actually had the opportunity to work with Jacob Fatu, and I mean, this man he's funny. He's a hell of an athlete, a wild man in the ring, a little bit different backstage, but okay, so. Seeing his ferocity, his everything about him, when he comes out now some are speculating that he's going to make a move. He's going to make a move for that top dog spot. Now, what do you think about it? Let's get you guys' opinion on all this.
Well, personally, I think that's the expected thing. Jacob Fatu was the MLW champion for a very long time. And he is clearly the dominant in-ring performer in the new bloodline. So now the thing is, does he eventually make a play or does he stay loyal? And I guess I'm going to take a wait and see on that one.
With his size, with his attitude, with his ferocity, he actually, he'd be a hell of a contender. Even I would dare to say, even against Roman Reigns. I mean, this man, it's just I've seen him I've seen him in action. Like the switch when he hits that freaking when that power hits him. Oh my God, the man is literally a beast. Now he's a monster, and I don't think if he's used correctly. And like I said, the way that I seen him come in to WWE, I was with him a month before he got signed, and when he went in there. Oh my God, you know what I mean? But so what are you thinking about that? About their Big John? What do you think about that?
I think, as far as Fatu goes, he's a pretty dominant wrestler, and I think he could be a really good contender for the title. As far as staying loyal or going for the big dog spot or even turning on the new bloodline, that might be possible as well. I mean, I can see him turning on Solo and going over to Roman's side eventually as well.
That's an interesting
that would be interesting to see. How Solo was Roman's enforcer, and then he turned and basically said he was the new tribal chief. So I could see Fatu sort of doing the same thing, except being Roman's turning and being Roman's enforcer instead of Solo's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that obviously begs a new whole nother aspect of this, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you chime in there, Nightmare.
Well, the way I see this whole thing going is this storyline with the bloodline, the newer version, isn't going to last as long as the other one. So there's a couple things that could happen here. One, Jacob Fatu turns on Solo Sikoa, breaks out on his own, which I would love to see because the man is a beast. He's a force to be reckoned with. As far as Solo goes, Solo might be a good tag team wrestler later on. I don't see him getting really many single pushes. Maybe a U.S. title run, maybe an IC title run. But Jacob Fatu's going to break out whenever they do separate, and he's going to be a standalone athlete in the company. And I think he's going to be one of the best the company's ever had.
Well, I see Wildman looking like he wants to chime in there. His reaction on his face there. You guys can't see that, but
yeah. Well, I mean, my whole thing is just that's an interesting take on Solo Sikoa. And I mean, people can drop quickly. I'm not saying that can't happen, but right now I do feel like he's kind of proven himself that he can be one of the top guys. I think the biggest detriment to Sikoa is his height. Because honestly, every time he's out there in the ring, I look at him and I'm always like, he's supposed to be this badass, and he's literally the shortest guy in the ring. And I'm not saying short guys can't be tough guys, but in wrestling, there is an image that needs to be upheld. So I think his height might be the biggest thing that's going to work against him. But when this bloodline breaks up, Jacob Fatu is going to be the star. Tama Tonga is very smooth and very experienced, but he's also in his 40s, right? So he's kind of in a Damian Priest type situation. Like, I don't really think I don't think Damian Priest is ever getting anywhere near the world title again, and I don't think Tama Tonga is ever going to get that kind of a position. But
Oh, you know what? Okay, so so one last chime in, Big Ton. You got something you want to end that subject with?
Well, as soon as the Wild Man there said something about Solo's height, the first thing I thought of was Umaga.
Hmm.
And Umaga, correct me if I'm wrong, was he world champ for a period of time? I can't remember.
he had the Intercontinental title like really quickly. I don't remember if he ever won the world title though.
I think you're right. I think he only had the IC. But my point being was that Umaga was, basically pushed to the moon. And I don't know if that was because they were trying to copy Samoa Joe at the time from TNA because they both had undefeated streaks and their gimmicks were relatively the same.
Right.
But Umaga was short, so to speak, and so is Solo. So if Umaga could get some kind of push like that to be on the mid card, then it's definitely possible that Solo could get pushed either to mid card or further. It just depends on which way they want to go.
That is interesting. But you know what? Let's continue to move this. Let's move this round table around a little bit, shall we? That was not. Yeah, I like everybody's take on. Did you want? I'll give you a few seconds if you want to say something in that.
I do. Umaga was not short. 6 foot.
Yeah, he wasn't. Was
not short.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
He's not that tall, is he?
6'4".
Oh, 6.
No.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah,
Well,
and
compared
Sokoa's got to be like 5'10" to 6 foot.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
My bad. I didn't think Umaga was that.
yeah, I was like,
tall,
Umaga was a monster.
and really, Solo's not too short either. He's like 6'2".
Maybe he's 6'2". I'm saying Shawn Michaels was 6'2" and he was really 5'10". You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, they always.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they always give a little couple extra inches.
Yeah.
All right,
Cody was 6'8" until Dennis Rodman was his tag team partner. You know what I mean?
For real.
Yep.
All right, fellas. Hey, let's move forward here. Jeff Hardy, man, came out in a tribute to perhaps one of the greatest, The Fiend. What are your takes on that?
Well, I thought it looked really cool, man. I'm not a Jeff Hardy fan. Yeah. I don't like that kind of wrestling, man. It's just not my thing. Sorry.
I don't know.
I've known that shit for years.
Yeah, just not my thing, man. I'm more into old school psychology than I am big spots for the sake of big spots. But it's very cool for Jeff Hardy to do that. I mean, I don't know what his relationship was with Bray Wyatt, but at the same time, I wonder. It's weird timing, like why didn't he do it back when he first passed away? Did he just do it because the Wyatt Six is getting hot? So there's that too, I mean, you wonder about his motivation, but it looked cool. So yeah.
No, that's a great question. And a matter of fact, that probably is something that led into something that we probably didn't even think about. Now, that has to be a creative decision, though, you think? Or how much do you think? How much of that was him, and how much you think was creative?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I know, I'm not backstage there, but I know in WWE, like they get their gear made on the spot, So, and I don't know how much input they get into that, Like it's like, here, this is what you're wearing tonight. I mean, that could be, I really don't know. So.
Right. Well, now I guess I'm gonna need a little bit back research here now. Matt, how long has he been on TNA for right now? How long has this push been?
Matt's been.
He showed up at one of the pay-per-views he showed up at one of the pay-per-views after his AEW deal was up, and that's been like 8 months, I think.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to see what happens with that. But hey, so what's your take on that then? What do you think? You think it's a push of his own design? You think it's a push of creative trying to make him something that maybe isn't there anymore? Trying to get some last minute magic off of the, like he said, off the Wyatt Six.
Well, yeah, why not? Why not? Uh,
Right.
he's going to get one of two things out of this. He's going to get fan appreciation, or he's going to get heat from it. And I don't
Right.
see him getting the heat from it. So he's going to get more fan appreciation. He's probably on his last run. As bad as I hate to say it, but he shortened his own career over the years. But I think that's what it is. It's just more fan appreciation, and give a little shout out to someone who made wrestling special over the few years that he was with us.
So do you think it's more of, okay? So I know the fans are fickle. A lot of them are hot about the Six, but then some of them are just like, what's going on here? Why are they doing this? Give it up, let it die. So give me your views on that.
Well, we all have something to say, I guess.
All right, yeah, let's start with well, you know what, we were with him, so let's go ahead and go back to him then. Let's go ahead and let you get that going there. Their nightmare. Let's hear what your take on it. Let's go.
I love the personal like the personal feel from it that they're going with the Wyatt Six. Some people thought that just let it die, let it go. Me, I supported Bray Wyatt a lot. It killed me whenever WWE released him, and for that time, and we all wanted him to come back. Well, he did, and it was a short run because he was taken away from us. But what Bo Dallas has done as Uncle Howdy is nothing more than remarkable. I see Bray Wyatt in him every time he's out there. It gets more and more. He gets better every time, and it's just amazing to me that people would want something that we already know that most of the stuff that Bray had intended to do, he already had it wrote out and planned, and they're just running off of it. And I love it, and I hope that they give Taylor creative freedom on it and let him do his own thing.
Well, let's just hear your take on it there, well, man.
So, one thing that I don't like about the Wyatt Six is that their current storyline, if you will, came at the expense of Tozawa and Otis. They had to get them out of the way to get Gable, American Made, I guess is their name, to get them in there with the Wyatt Six. So they lost like 3 straight matches and were just done. And I think Tozawa and Otis could have been a really good, strong babyface tag team after breaking away from Alpha Academy. So I don't like that. I feel like they got sacrificed so the Wyatt Six could get a spot. But as far as what they're doing in the ring, I mean, that street fight was phenomenal.
Great.
It was so good. They're all good wrestlers. I think they need some time to build up an aura like Bray Wyatt had. But I think they're getting better with it, and I think there's more of it there every week. So I wish that they had found a different avenue, if you will, to get them started, because I hate what they did with Tozawa and Otis. It makes me so mad. But that's not their fault. That's creative. You know what I mean? They didn't make that decision. So.
And Big Ton, let's go and let you put a fork in this bad boy.
Yeah, I was just to follow up with what Keith said. As promoters, we know that unless you have creative control, it's not really their choice. They have to do what creative tells them to do. And yeah, I'm not happy that they got sacrificed either. I've had to, I've seen that done many times in the past. I've been around wrestling for 40 years, and I've seen that happen too many times to too many people that didn't deserve it. But anyway, as far as the Wyatt Six goes, I honestly like the tag team. I love what they're doing. Um, and I love that they're beating the shit out of Gable. I just think that's funny as hell.
You know, I don't, yeah, okay, I've got to chime in a little bit here. I guess you still have a few seconds. I don't like what they did with Sister Abigail. I expected so much more from that character. I mean, from that character arc, that whole idea of the Sister Abigail thing. I mean, I don't know, as a fan, my plan was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with her. But now it seems like she's just like an off subject, like a prank, as opposed to, an
Yeah,
actual.
I actually agree with that. I agree with that.
Actually, but she's actually Abby the Witch, right?
Yeah.
So she's Alexa can still come in as Big
Honestly,
Sister.
that's what I thought was going to happen.
I mean, remember when there was a bunch of rumors going around on the internet that their sister was going to be Sister Abigail?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, they had a lot of different options. I love Nikki Cross though, man. That girl has a ton of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Great in the ring. But she's not really Sister Abigail though, right? She's just Nikki Cross.
Yeah. I'm honestly just glad they got out of that damn gimmick, Nikki ASH. I thought that shit was kind of stupid.
Hey, Shane Helms and Rosie love that gimmick.
Yeah, I'm sure they did, man. I have no doubt.
Tribute to Rosie, man.
Where they're coming because they're doing it big. See, now, well, my other thing is, I'm glad that it didn't. I guess it's sad to see Bray obviously gone. But again, I'm glad that. I guess I'm kind of glad that he didn't live long enough for it to turn into the whole Undertaker versus Undertaker fiasco. You know what I mean? Freaking Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my take on that. But you know what? Hey, since we're at it. Undertaker showed up at WrestleMania. Oh my God. Nightmare. Now, not about that, man. What do you think? You think it's just one last boom here, fans, take this? Or do you think that they I know he said publicly, I will not come back as the Undertaker because the TV show, the whole biography, everything, I won't do it anymore. He just outright won't do it again. But you think we see another badass run?
I might see American Badass run. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, I think he can. Personally, I think he can still go a little bit. He said that in a recent interview, he said that he feels more healthier than he has in a long time. So I can see him making some appearances, maybe doing some legend spots and stuff. Maybe giving us a little bit of excitement.
Let me go a little bit further with this, guys, for the rest of you guys to chime in on this. I did not like what they did with Sting. The Sons were cool, but Undertaker Sting is still out there. I think it's still an option to be on the table. What are we saying?
Oh, man. So we had a little bit of a Sting discussion last week. I honestly, okay. I think Sting is the worst legend in the history of legends.
I disagree.
I think that Sting had good partners. His matches with Ric Flair were obviously awesome. But if you look at his matches with Hogan were not good. His matches with Bret Hart were not very good. His matches with Lex Luger were pretty freaking terrible. His matches with Nikita Koloff were not very good. I think that Sting got made by Ric Flair. And I mean, and he made a career out of it, and good for him and good for the marketing team. But I personally, Sting doesn't get me excited, man. That's just my personal take on it.
You know what? I'm going to cut you out. I'm not even giving you a full minute and a half. Nightmare. Let's hear it.
Well, he's not totally wrong. I can agree with that. I think that he was decent. Okay, as far as a wrestling move set, as far as wrestling move sets go, his move set was kind of repetitious, like John Cena. If you watched one match, you've seen all 50 of them.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
I liked Sting back in his younger days when he was Surfer Sting. Of course, that was one of my favorite versions of him. Everybody else, and I like the TNA Sting that they had with the Joker. That was the only two versions. I didn't like NWO Sting. Didn't care for it. I wasn't a big WCW guy back in the day. I was happy whenever WWE bought WCW because I was like, finally, we can get rid of this trashy promotion. And that was just my take on it. But yeah.
You know what? We haven't heard from Big Ton. Big Ton, what do you think?
Honestly, I think they're both full of shit.
Well, there you go. Roundtable. By all means.
First of all, Sting has said on many occasions that Ric Flair made his career. So Sting knows that. Sting knows that if what didn't happen in Clash 1 happened, then he wouldn't have been Sting, or it would have been a completely different gimmick.
Right.
Now, shit, I hate when I lose my train of thought. My bad.
Yeah, he wouldn't have had his gimmick because he's not very tall. You were saying?
No,
It's not very tall.
No, that's good shit, dude. That's good shit. Even I have to admit that was good shit. But he wouldn't have had the gimmick if it wasn't for Flair, because Flair really made him look good at Mania or at Clash 1. Now, as far as what Wildman there said about they missed the matches, you can't really blame Sting and Luger all on Sting, because Luger was what did they say? It was a $1 million body and a 10-cent brain.
Well, actually, Lex Luger was really smart. That was part of the problem, was that part of the problem with most of the people in the business, he was a football player who realized that he could make some money as a wrestler, and just but no, I wasn't trying to blame it all on Sting. What I was saying was that Sting, okay, so Ric Flair and Lex Luger had phenomenal matches. Okay. What I was saying was Sting had to have a Ric Flair or a Rick Rude or someone of that caliber in the ring with him to have a good match. Whereas, I feel like if you're really a great wrestler, which Sting is looked at as a great wrestler, he's considered a legend. You can elevate other people.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
And I don't feel like Sting had that ability.
Let me ask you this. At the same time, when Ric Flair was a great wrestler, didn't somebody have to be in the ring to make Flair a great wrestler like Flair did to Sting, or did that not happen?
I mean,
I got to chime in for a second here. Now, when we say great wrestler, are we talking all-around wrestler? Because, I mean, obviously, Flair, one of the greatest freaking heels in the game, right? One of the most enigmatic out there. So what are we, when we say that, then are we saying like just straight out wrestler, or are we saying performance?
I'm talking about performance.
Okay.
And what I'm talking about is a whole package. I think that Sting was a great performer. He was clearly athletic, but I think that he fell short when it came to putting on the great matches, unless he had somebody. Ric Flair could do it all. Ric Flair could entertain and have 5-star matches. Same with a guy like Rick Rude. Same with a guy like Ricky Steamboat. Same with a guy like Arn Anderson. And that's why those guys, in my opinion, should be held in higher regard. Shawn Michaels didn't have bad matches except for whatever reason when he wrestled Kurt Hennig, which doesn't make any sense because they're both amazing.
They're both great.
but yeah, there's a difference between being able to be entertaining and being able to have a serviceable match and being a legend. And to me, Sting just never should have been. His longevity maybe, gets him that status to a point. but is Coco Beware a legend? You know what I mean?
Okay, so
You know,
let me ask you
Yeah,
something.
I mean, right.
Is Estrada a legend who just signed a contract? No, he's not a legend. He never was a
Estrada never
legend.
wrestled at the WWE though.
No.
You know, he's never wrestled on a big time promotion. He wrestled in Puerto Rico, and he's actually a pretty good wrestler, to be completely honest. But he's definitely more of a mouthpiece, and he's a really good guy. Like I've had some interactions with him. He's a good dude, humble, good guy. And he can wrestle, but it never was shown. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely wouldn't consider him a legend.
So then let's go back to it. Then, do you think that he's worthy of an Undertaker Sting match, or you think it's just nostalgia?
For money, I mean, why not? You know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
look.
I mean,
Okay,
but at this point, like they're both creeping up on 60, right? So
no, Sting is past 60, dude.
oh, Sting is older than 60. Okay, so
I believe he's older than, and I believe Taker's older than 62. I would have to do some
really?
research, but I'm
Okay, so
pretty
yeah,
sure.
I mean, there's no reason to have that match
I
except to
mean,
make some money.
I
Yeah.
mean that's just like the Hogan Piper match when they were both over 50 or whatever, and they looked like they were 80 when they were in the ring.
Well, I think the biggest difference with the Hogan Piper thing is that Hogan was still a full time wrestler.
Yeah.
And he was still
Well,
capable of having some pretty good matches. I think that
now,
Piper probably needed more time to get ready
yeah.
for that match.
Now I also
Yeah.
think that I mean, look, okay, just for a second, look at boxing and look at Mayweather. He's over 50 and he comes back for paydays every once in a while. You know, so why
And
can't
always
Okay,
beats the crap out of people.
for real?
here's the thing.
So why can't Taker
Undertaker
and Sting do
59.
it?
So Undertaker's 59, Sting 65. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
There's the
There we
actuality
go.
of it.
Yeah.
All right,
So
and
wow.
on another note, I just saw last night that Hogan is going to turn 69 soon, and he wants a retirement match.
Give it to him.
Give it to him. Yeah, why not? You know?
Let's go triple
Well, I
threat.
mean, he did.
Hulk Hogan, Cena. I mean, Hulk Hogan,
He did.
Sting,
He did. He did sign a new 5-year deal with the Fed just a little bit ago. So that I mean, a retirement match is not out of the realm.
They should all have retirement matches with John Cena on his retirement tour.
Great.
Well,
That's what they should do.
Speaking of that, apparently Cena had given Triple H or whoever in TKO a list of people that he wants to wrestle on his retirement tour. I don't know who those names are, but
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think Rey Mysterio should be on that list.
All
You brought up a great point there, though. So with that,
now
even if he gets that list, though, will it be house show list or is it going to be air list? That's
I
a
mean,
great.
some of it's going to have to be,
It's supposed to be TV list, but now here's another thing. During that retirement tour, is Cena gonna get number 17 or no to pass Flair?
Never happen. It will never happen.
That's so tough. Like, I think Cody and Gunther are doing such a good job right now. Taking the belt off either one of them is kind of a mistake.
Yep.
Especially sometime in the next year. So I just don't see it unless it's like a quick win to get the pop and then put the belt right back on them.
Yeah, like the next week or whatever.
Yeah,
like take the belt off. They take the belt off Cody at like, say for instance at Rumble and put it back on him the next night at Raw or some shit.
Nope, it's not going to happen.
I don't see it happening, but
I don't see it happening.
I guess you never know.
But that question has been posed to me for a while now.
Is Randy Orton going to get 16?
Randy Orton should get a win over The Undertaker if The Undertaker comes back. That's what should happen.
For real.
I agree.
I don't know about it getting 16, but if Taker comes back, one of the things he should do is make that right, because he should have put Randy over. They're the legend killer thing.
For sure.
Okay, guys. At this point, I don't know that I don't know about that one right there. But
Yeah.
again, John Cena. I did see Doctor Death. Like months before his passing. He took a championship. Of course, that was obviously in the Indies. But I mean, it's not beyond the especially with today's storylines. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. Like you said, maybe to put over. Possibly even Fatu or somebody like this, put him in, he's got it, all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, it's like, what the hell just happened?
Right. Right.
I like those kind of moments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
me
everybody
too.
does.
That immediate pop, yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's just like
Yes.
not if you want to talk nostalgia, that's just like back in what was it?
Are we okay?
Back when
Start the timer again.
back when Taker beat Hogan for the title, and then like 3 weeks later he got it back.
Yeah. Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah. I couldn't think. I knew what I was trying to say. I couldn't think of the name of the pay per view. Actually, the one that
Yeah.
came to my mind was Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah, it was Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah.
Very interesting, guys. So I mean, there's some ideas creative. So if you guys are paying any attention there, fellas. Oh my God. So okay, I guess we got time for one last subject possibly then. Since we talked to everybody else, we talked all this sort of thing. I think so. A little bit of forbidden door action, perhaps, with the McMahon run in AEW.
Ooh.
Yeah, by all means, Wild Man. Let's start that off.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with Shane in AEW. But I think that they need help with direction. And they definitely need help with their backstage segments.
Yeah.
So if Shane McMahon can help them with that, let's see what goes on, dude. I don't really know, it's also secretive. It's like, oh, well, he took a meeting. Oh, here's a picture. So it's hard to know what they're even talking about and what they're even going to do with him.
Let's add a little bit of thought to that then. So if, one of the main things that, as far as like pro wrestlers are concerned, as far as I can tell, is that they, they are adamant that the reason why they support AEW is because it's more wrestling and less of the WWE style. It's not so much to the show as it is the pro wrestling. So yeah, let's go with that then. What do you so does he ruin that thing for AEW? Do they lose some of their...
Does he ruin it or does he rein it in?
Yeah,
it just depends on how you want to look at it, I guess. Because I don't watch AEW that much, and part of the reason is because, okay, this is a perfect example of why. That match where they had the Iron Man match with Ospreay and MJF should have closed the show. Like, flip that show around. No one was going to follow that. Why did that open the show? It's someone who knows a little bit more about putting wrestling shows together and segments and stuff would have known to do that. By the time that match was over, the fans had just watched an hour of amazing wrestling, and they were kind of exhausted. And then you're going to follow it up with like Nia Jax and Mercedes Moné and Mariah, not Nia Jax, I'm sorry.
Nyla
Rose, thank you. Nyla Rose and Mercedes Moné and Mariah May like laying around in the ring. And then the main event, which was, it was Swerve and somebody, right?
Yeah.
Was a good match, but it was clearly so much more planned out, or at least it looked like it was. MJF and Ospreay looked like everything that they did was just in the moment, competing, happening during the match. Yeah. And then freaking Swerve and his guy started out with a ninja spot. They started out with a Kung Fu movie spot. And everybody knows that those things don't just happen. You know what I mean? Like, come on. So yeah, that's a perfect example to me of what's wrong with AEW. Like,
Big John, you want to respond to that? We got
Was that to me? I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you like
go
to
ahead, bro.
respond to that, Big Don? We haven't
Yeah.
heard from you.
All right. So I think some parts Keith is right, and on other parts I don't. Like WWE does the same shit. Like when they did the cage match on SmackDown and they put it on first, that should have been the main event and not the curtain jerk.
Well, I'm saying sometimes you got to catch that attention of the average fan. You know, what I mean, so sometimes like obviously like just for the
I mean,
show for
I
today.
see I see your point, but I mean, honestly, I can't remember what match followed that up. But if you do a cage match, then it should. And if it's not the main, then it should be at least the semi-main. I don't think you put that on the curtain jerk. But
Well, I think there's a
go on.
I think there's a difference between opening up with like a brutal cage match with some excitement and an hour-long Iron Man match that was grueling and that the fans had to go through a big up and down with and then expecting them to hang out for a whole nother hour.
So
I
let me
think
ask
there's
you
a
something.
difference between that.
Let me ask you something. Do you think it's the fact that it was the match or the participants in the match?
Well, I think MJF and Ospreay were the two best guys to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me.
So
My point was, would if it was the Shawn and Brett Iron Man match, would it have made a difference?
yeah,
Or
no, not at all, dude.
No.
And that match went like 120.
Yeah.
Would you want to watch an hour and 20-minute match between, at the time, the two best wrestlers in the world, and then watch another hour of wrestling after that? Like,
No.
what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, there's no.
especially
It was
if it's
bad
not.
placement, man. It was bad
Espe-
placement.
Yeah, they do that all the time. Now, this might not be the most how can I put this diplomatically good take on it, but Tony Khan is a blithering idiot.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know the
Market
guy,
money.
so
He's a
I
fan.
I
don't
don't
know
know
the
him
guy.
either. I don't know him either.
So,
I don't know him either. But all right. My
I will say
problem
Tony Khan is not a wrestling person.
He's a fanboy.
I will say that.
Now my problem with Tony Khan is the fact that he let Cody Rhodes go and wouldn't give him the contract he wanted, but he gave the young idiots the same contract.
I mean, man, that's business decisions. I don't.
Right.
And
Like you
and
said, he's
and,
he's
and,
a mark with money. There you go.
and he's
Yeah.
a money mark. Like
Yeah.
there's a couple of them here in this state. We won't name names, but there's a few money marks
I know
here
who
in
you're talking about.
Wisconsin.
That's horrible. Shame on you. Hey, we didn't hear your take on that there, Nightmare.
Well, my thing is, if you're going to open your show with a banger of a match, you better end it with one hell of a banger of a match.
Agreed.
So, and then you can piece things together to keep people's attention. But opening with an hour long, Iron Man match, it's a little bit unforgiving to the fans.
Well, then we need to also, I guess, as a promoter, as well, I need to, kind of, I mean, we don't know what the circumstances were backstage. You know what I mean? Was it, did somebody not show up? Like, hey, go over, guys, take us as far as you want. You know what I mean?
Take this.
But I think,
what did they end up going, like 57, 59 or something like that? It was ridiculous.
It was 59 minutes. It was right at 59. So
you did go
long.
My thing with Shane is, I hope that if he is going to help them in any shape or form, he teaches them about storylines, because AEW is virtually without storylines. Even when they try to do storylines, it's terrible.
That's been kind of like, as from pro wrestling, it's been kind of the praise, and like, again, obviously this from the fans as well.
Now here's the time for my gimmick. It might be terrible, but it's not as bad as TNA.
TNA is better than AEW. TNA is better than AEW now.
No, it's not.
I mean, so I am a big NWA fan.
Me too.
I love watching the NWA. Right now, they're showing the Back to the Territories in parts on their weekly show, so
Right.
it's not really in step with what's going on because the Back to the Territories happened back in June. But one of the things that I really like about the NWA is that the storylines happen. Yes, yeah, the storylines happen in the ring, for the most part. And I think that if AEW could do that, like build rivalries in the ring, then that could be something to watch. Like, and the same thing with like NXT, which is my other favorite thing to watch. I love watching NXT. There is some out of the ring stuff, but for the most part, the storylines happen in the ring and they're carried over through matches. And I think that that's something that AEW, if they don't want to do, because their backstage stuff is not good. It's just
it's terrible. That
I don't know, who's producing that stuff, but it's not good.
That promo that Ricochet shot with Ospreay was garbage.
Yeah. So if they
I
want
would have to agree. That's crap.
Yeah, if they want to pull back on the backstage stuff because it's not their strongest suit, tell your stories in the ring.
Right.
Create rivalries in the ring.
I agree.
And people will get into that too. But it seems like every time I watch AEW, it's just a bunch of random freaking matches.
They got too many.
They're good and they're entertaining. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's not really what I. And there are a few people like obviously Ospreay and MJF have a thing going on, and Adam, Hangman.
Page.
Page. Adam Page has his stuff going on. I mean, so there is. But the difference with that is everybody in the WWE. If you were to ask what is Pretty Deadly doing right now, and Pretty Deadly is pretty low on the card. Like you know what their deal is though. Oh, you wouldn't know. Okay, so their deal is that they want to make a big rock opera. And part of making that big rock opera is, getting famous and winning the tag team titles and having, having that notoriety so that they can pull off their big rock opera. But that was my point. Like everyone in WWE has a story. So if you're either going to have everybody have a story or you're going to do your stuff in the ring. It can't be half-assed in both. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You know what I'm saying, guys? So this is going to become one of those fade to black moments that pro wrestling fans love so much. We got about, due to time restrictions and because, the Sizzle's a busy man. We've got 5 minutes. I haven't heard, obviously we didn't hear a lot from the big bad Tunner over there. But you know what? We got to take this bad boy home. So what we're going to let, we haven't actually heard very much from Nightmare in this last bit of segment. So I'm not familiar. Again, I'm a guest today, so I'm not 100% sure how we normally end our shows. We got about 5 minutes left. Some final commentary, I guess, Mr. Ward.
I think AEW needs to get back to basics. Learn how to tell a story. And then from there, everything will fall into place.
But again, that does set them apart as wrestlers, as opposed to
But ROH tried that too. No heels, no faces. And what happened to ROH now? Where are they at? Oh, right, they're part of AEW now. So
there we go.
you got to have some kind of some storytelling. It's got to be there. I mean. That's why we all are intrigued with WWE over the years. They've told us stories and we followed them. That's why we love wrestling.
There we go, guys. So again, I obviously this was the Sizzle's first time. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to come out and help commentate with this. Like I said, obviously I got a little bit of an idea what's going on here. Next time I'll definitely be more prepared for it. So there we go with that. So did you want to leave with any closing remarks there, Big Ton?
Sure. I guess, like we said last week, like us, follow us, rate us if you would like, leave your comments about, what you think about the podcast. And I guess that means we are out. Peace out, and we'll see you next week.